Welcome to another video where I talk about my favourite era of drums, which if you've not caught up with all of that by now, it's about 1986 to 1999. It started off when I was a teenager, and over the last few years I've been lucky enough to basically get a whole bunch of kits from that period. From the thick shell like the Custom Z there, right down to the thin shell of the Star Classic, and probably everything in between as well. In fact, actually, this may be a candidate for the in-between bit. So as you're seeing again, as usual from the title, this is the Pearl Session Elite kit. I think it was actually Prestige. In fact, it was Prestige Session Elite. I have the very catalogue on the screen here, actually. This is another one. I mean, again, I've talked about this before. This is another one of those catalogue kits, although I referred to them as catalogue kits. I saw these drums in the catalogue. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've actually got this very catalogue, the one I have on the screen, in the other room. It was one of those ones that I vividly remember. So generally, when I remember stuff that clearly, it means I've got a copy of it somewhere. And I remember seeing these drums in this catalogue, and you know, and absolutely loving this blue. And you know what? 30 odd years after I first saw these, when I got a set in person, I still love this blue. It's fantastic. I mean, it's got a bit of white light on it, you can see it there, but it genuinely, look at that blue, it's lovely. It's actually called Pacific Blue. And, you know, I love it. It's not a wrap either. So the Session Elite, I mean, there was a few different sort of session series. To be honest, I can't remember what they are. If I find them, I'll put them up on the screen. But I know there wasn't just the Session Elite. These are very, I think these are classic examples of early 90s drums. Now, the line came out in 91. I mean, it's got all the classic hallmarks, really. I mean, you could tell this drum is from the 90s, even if you couldn't tell immediately what brand it was. And you could tell from, like, the other end of a big hall. It's got those classic, well, you know, the most obvious classic feature is these wonderful lugs. Yeah, loads of drums, loads of drum companies in the 90s did this. You know, I obviously have the Pearl here. The Custom Z had long lugs. My Premier XPK, which is behind the camera, that's got long lugs. The Tama Artstar 2 has got long lugs. You know, Pearl used them a lot. Premier, everyone kind of used them, and it was just one of those things, you know. If it's from the early 90s, it's probably got long lugs on it. And I mean, they well, you know, it's a time and a place. I mean, people do still put long lugs on drums. I mean, I'm kind of a bit indifferent to it. I look at it. I think for me, actually, I look at long lugs on a drum really with kind of just fondness, really. I mean, I think if you're going to get all nitpicky about it and shell resonance and this and that, and like, you know, it impedes the resonance of the drum. You know, the thing is what you'll find with a lot of these drum shells, and you can probably like get an idea from that, is these are pretty thick drum shells. They're not exactly going to vibrate for years. So the thing is if you bolt a load of heavy hardware onto it, it's not really going to make that much difference. I mean, if you slapped sort of this sort of thing on a really thin sort of, you know, shell like the Star Classic or something, then yeah, maybe you've probably got a point there. But like, these are thick shell drums anyway, and you know, this sort of thing, it's not going to do that much damage. The hoops are just quite, to be honest, these feel quite spindly. So they're 1.6mm hoops. Yeah, I mean they've got the odd dent in them. I know this one has, because this is about the third time I've done this video, so I've manhandled this drum loads of times over the last few weeks. Yeah, there's a bit of a dent there, you know. It's one of those things. These drums, as I said, these drums are, give or take, 30 years old, and they are the original hoops. I mean, this kit, actually, sort of moving on, I suppose, is there anything else to talk about? No, not really. You know, it's got the as for the era, the old tom mount straight into the shell, which, you know, some people will probably cry about these days, you know, and again, resonance and all that. But yeah, moving on. Anyway, look, these drums actually came to me. I got these in the great drum kit buying epidemic of early 2021. I've got a feeling I haven't even had these a year yet, actually. I think they turned up in about May 2021. And I bought them after, as I do with a lot of these things, giving it a bit of a think, and then looking at them, and then thinking about it some more, and then giving it another think, and then going, what the hell, who cares? And I bought them. And I paid, I didn't pay a bad amount. I think it was about £535 I paid for this kit. Now, the kit itself, as with many Pearl kits that I have, certainly many of the older Pearl kits anyway, maybe that's the thing. A lot of the older kits have all got, like, multiple toms. A lot of my Pearl kits have either 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 or 10, 12, 13, 14, 16 on them. That's certainly the case for this kit, the BLX, the Masters kit, the wood fiberglass. Not that one, sadly. That's the Reference Pure, which will be coming up at some point. But you know, I managed to pick up a lot. For some reason, I've got a lot of mini toms. That's not even a good English good, is it really? For some reason, I've just basically got a good few kits with lots and lots of toms. This set is actually 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, and then a 22 16-inch kick drum. The kit I am sat behind at the moment, which you will hear in a minute, in fact you probably heard already, is actually just 12, 16, 22, and I didn't get a snare drum with this. Not that that's really any great loss, because the standard snare drum that came with these drums was basically a 14 6.5 steel shell of not much exciting sort of features, demeanour. You know, it wasn't. Yeah, I mean these kits were. I think these kits were sort of deemed to be sort of intermediate level. And the snare drum is kind of representative of that. So, but as I said, I got these. I got these not quite a year ago from where I am now, and I got them and I put them up. And you may have seen. I think I did a couple of videos where I was actually sat behind them where I didn't play them. But I got them, set them up, tried to noodle around with them, and then something else came in, and I took them down, and I kind of. This is really the first time I've played them properly and made any real effort with them. So you may have seen as I'm waving this around, and there you go. I've got CS dots on the top. I've got Ambassador Clears on the bottom, but I've got yes, I've got CS dots on these. I wanted to do something a little different with these drums. Now, originally, I actually wanted to try and have a little bit of a sort of, I won't say concert tom setup, because if you know what concert toms are, technically a concert tom has no bottom head and no lugs on it. So this would be just sort of a single-headed drum. I'm splitting hairs here, but like, you know, I originally basically wanted to set them up with just the single head with the CS dots on them. I was still kind of tempted to try that again, but like these kind of sound nice as they are now, so I don't know if I'll do it with this kit. But the drums actually came to me with the original bottom heads on them, so I promptly took those off, and because they were about 30 years old, I took a knife to them and I cut the plastic out of the hoop, and I basically put the hoop back on here. So I could basically put, I could put the hoop on there, hoop, and hoop. I could put this hoop on, and then protect the edge a little bit more, because I didn't want to obviously damage them. And I kind of did that, and it kind of, I did that for the 10, 12, 13, and it kind of left me a little bit sort of, left me wanting, really. I wasn't really the biggest fan of how it sounded. This is really the first time I've ever had CS dots. Well, it's not the first time actually, but it's the first time I've actually tried to give them a really good go. I bought these CS dots a while ago with the intention of trying them on a few different sets of drums, and admittedly I did actually have slightly out of view that one there you go. So that's the blue RCI, that's the blue acrylic kit, and I don't know if they're still on there or not, I can't really tell. I did have that kit's 10, 12, 14, and I originally put some CS dots on there. In fact, the kick drum still has the CS dot on there. I've not taken it off there, but I originally wanted to try that sort of classic, well, I'm going to refer to that classic Bonham-y type sound. I'm not really a big fan of Bonham, but I'd say that a classic acrylic drum sound with the dotted head and obviously the acrylic shell. And it just didn't, for me, it didn't work on the RCIs, and I kind of gave up with it. But I thought I would give it a proper go on some wooden drums, and I really like them now. I certainly like them. I've got the 10, the 12, and the 16, as I said, sort of to hand. The 13 and 14 are, well, the 13's up there. The 14's off over there somewhere. Can't see it, but it's there. Yeah, I really like them. I mean, it's a different sound. If you've never tried CS dot heads, this is not an advert for Remo, obviously, but if you've ever tried CS dot heads, I mean, it is, well, you know what, it's a controlled sound. It's kind of in the title, really, isn't it? But, it's one of those things. It's a defined sound. It is a controlled sound. It is a different sound. You don't get the big ring to them. And there's quite a bit of sort of attack with some controlled body sound, really. I quite like them. I mean, I'm not sure I'd have them on every kit. I did actually, after putting them on this kit, I did put them on another kit that I've got. So now I have two kits with CS dot heads on them, and the other kit is actually aluminium. And it's not this. I have a steel kit and an aluminium kit. You have got so much to catch up on, really. Yeah, I put them on the aluminium kit, and that's, I've not gigged it yet. I've not properly tried it, but certainly when I took the time out to put them on those two other drums, really sad. It really made a lot of difference. So I'm quite happy about that. Now, these shells, I forgot to actually mention, so these shells are... I love looking at pearl shells from this era. I do, because, like, I mean, if you can maybe... I might be able to do this without catching too much light, but if you can get a sort of an idea of just I'm going to make a word up, cylindricalness of these shells. There's just something about them. I really like the thicker shell. Now this is, I did this the other day, and then I've been to sleep since then, so I've forgotten what the specs are. But they are 7. Yeah, so I mean, they're 7-ply. They're 7-ply birch mahogany, and that was really the other reason actually I got these drums. Because I don't have, or didn't have, anything in birch mahogany. I'm not even sure, actually, I had any kits that are kind of a hybrid blend of woods. I've got a lot of birch kits. I think I may actually have a mahogany kit somewhere. I would need to think about that. I think, actually, that I've got a feeling that the British Drum Company's birch mahogany. I'll need to look that up before I get told off by people, but I should know, really, shouldn't I? But yeah, that's the first time. The birch mahogany is a kind of one of those more sort of contemporary, sort of contemporary classic, I think, shell concoctions or mixtures. You know, blends is a good word. One of those classic, modern classic wood blends. You know, and obviously a lot of people are doing sort of birch mahogany, but this was, as I said, this kit's about 30 odd years old, and it was something that I was quite interested in, you know, sort of checking out, and so I did. What else about these drums? I mean, yeah, so I'll tell you what, they are in power sizes. So they are. It is 10-10. Another 10-10. You know what? This is 10 by 10. Yeah. I haven't got the custom Z to hand, which is a shame, really. The custom Z is 10 by 10, yet it looks bigger than that. To my eye, it does anyway. And I'm just looking up there. This is always my reference point when I think of 10-10 drums. Is the Style Classic? In fact, I have 2 Style Classic Maples. I think I may have said that in another video. But I have 2 Style Classic Maples, both with 10 by 10 inch toms. And the violet shade, which is up there, always seems to look bigger than the other one. In fact, it always seems to look bigger than everything else. it looks, to me, it looks bigger than this now. But apparently they are the same size. But at 10-10, 12-10, 13-11, oh, where are we? Oh, and the screen went dead, so that's not helpful. It's 16 by 16, and I think it's probably a 14 by 12. Really inopportune moment for the screen to go off, really, actually. You know, it was comedic timing and all that. But yeah, I think it's a 14 by 12. I'm just looking here. It's typically, I can't find it when I need it. Yes, there you go. It's a 14 by 12. So, and did I mention, I think this is Pacific blue, this blue colour is. Now, I mean, I'm doing this at the moment. I'm sure I will have seen these knocking around on eBay. You can get these for a pretty decent price, I think, in terms of, like, you know, you can get quite a lot of drums for your money if you buy right. And in this instance, as I said, I paid, I think it was $5.35 for all of these drums, and that was shipped as well. And you know, I've seen a lot of these drums come up in the last year. In fact, there's at least one set, I think it's 2 sets, that are still up from when I bought this last year. There's certainly one is. I know for sure that one is. I'm pretty sure there's another one knocking around. I mean, they tend to sort of hit around the £500 mark, maybe £5 to £5.50 mark. There are some on eBay at the moment for more. There are 1 or 2 on eBay for less, but they've got, like, you know, they're like 5-piece kits. I know of 3 alone just in this colour on eBay right this minute as I'm doing this. There's also a red set on there as well. I mean, looking at everything that I know of these drums and having played them, you know, and taken a good look at the shells and a you know, a very close up look at them, I think they're as every bit as good as other high-end drums of the time, really. I mean, I know manufacturing is different, things have changed, things have moved on, but these really are as good a drums as you would have got 30 odd years ago. And as I said, the fact that you can pick them up for pretty decent money is not bad going in my book. So if you like that old school vibe of the late 80s and early 90s, if you kind of dig the thicker shell sort of idea and concept, and you don't mind these I can see you from outer space lugs, you know, these are great kits. I think so anyway. So, but anyway, I'll give you a quick spin around the kit, but this is what it looks like, this is what it sounds like, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.